What is up, Sports Geeks? It's your host, Josh, here back with another NFL mock draft, joined by Alec. As always, Alec, first mock draft here in probably about a month. So we've had a lot of stuff that's transpired. We've had the Senior Bowl, obviously had the Combine this past week. A ton of guys, I mean, as we see every year, stocks increase, stocks decrease in the Combine. A guy like Matthew Golden probably cements himself into the first round. A guy like Will Campbell with his arms is going to see himself drop maybe all the way to 10, maybe all the way to 15. We'll see today, but we're going to go ahead and hop right into this. So I will give you the choice. Would you prefer to have odds or even picks here?
So I'm going to go evens. I'm going to punt. I'm going to punt. I'm going to defer to the second half. You can go ahead with the first pick.
Okay, so we're not doing trades here today, just to clarify, not doing trades. If we were doing trades, what I would do is I would trade up. I would have the Giants be taking Cam Ward here at 101. I think that's what's going to happen as of right now. I think where there's smoke, there's fire sometimes. And I think that the Giants, we talk about it enough that they need, with between Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, they need to crush this out of the park. And what better way to crush this out of the park as a job-saving move than to trade up and take a quarterback? Do I think it's smart? No. But do I think their jobs are on the line and they're willing to do whatever, and that is whatever? Yes, I do think so. So I think either way, I think Cam Ward's going 101 though.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Yeah, I could definitely see it. I mean, after the Combine, I know they both didn't throw or kind of test, but kind of the buzz has been like he's going to be the number one guy off the board. So I like that. Arm talent's amazing. So yeah, I like Cam Ward at 1. So kind of going here at 2 with the Browns. I've heard that the Browns are going to go QB here. Don't know if they're hoping Cam Ward falls. I'm just going to play it safe here. If I'm them, I just take Abdul Carter and I don't even think about it.
Yep. No, I
I just
completely
take the best
agree.
player available. They're probably going to trade Myles Garrett. That's fine. In the worst case scenario, Abdul Carter, the trenches are the most important part of the team. We're going to get into this here in a little bit, potentially with the Bears. We talked about this a little bit off camera. So I think you just take Abdul Carter here at 2. Don't even think about it. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it'd be easy for me.
Yes, no, I would agree. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns found a way to mess it up. But I do think the easy way to do that is just take Abdul Carter. He's not a Myles Garrett replacement, but he's as close as you can get in this draft to a Myles Garrett replacement. I'm going to go Shador Sanders here at 3. I don't think this is a intelligent pick, but I think, again, no trades today. The Giants, I think, are going to take a quarterback if either Cam Ward or Shador is available, because they have to crush it out of the park. And so I think that's what's going to happen here. Shador Sanders going 3rd overall. I think there's a chance if he falls past this pick. The Raiders taking him at 6, maybe the Jets at 7. I mean, I don't. I think the Shador floor is very, very low. I think like maybe even second round low, like just because the desire for a quarterback is not there, because this draft class just is not necessarily great. So, and when it comes to the quarterback, I should say. So I have Shador going 3rd overall. I could see him falling much, much later though.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I think he will go in the top 10 though. Just with the amount of buzz that he got. He had like a 74% completion percentage in the Big 12 last year. So I think he does go round 1 pretty high. I really do like the connection with the Giants though. There's been a lot of smoke with the Giants. So I could definitely see him either trading up. I could even see him trade up to 1 and take Shador.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just depends on, you're right. His floor is pretty low though.
Yeah.
So 4 here, I'm just going to go Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I think this would be just a no-brainer. Just take the best player available on the board.
Yep, and I'm going to do the same thing here at 5. It's going to be Mason Graham. This is probably Mason Graham to the Jaguars is probably one of, if not the most mocked player to a team fit across the board. And it's hard to see going anywhere else. They need help everywhere on defensively and in the trenches, on offense a little bit too. But I think Mason Graham is clearly the best player available and solves a clear need for them. I think it's easy for them.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, the 3 guys in this draft that I wouldn't be nervous about drafting at all are Carter, Hunter, and Graham. So fitting that they all go in the top 5 with the 2 QBs.
Yes.
So here at 6, I'm actually going to have potentially somebody that we wouldn't actually think of right here. I'm gonna go Will Campbell here.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going Will Campbell is I don't know if he's going to play tackle or guard in the NFL, but the Raiders just have to get a pick right. I think Will Campbell's going to be a great pro. Don't know
Mhm.
where he's going to play, but I just think that they need to nail this pick. And I think they might go Will Campbell here.
Yeah. No, no, no. I mean, I think it's certainly possible. I think this is his ceiling.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think I think the Patriots could use, some offensive tackle help and some guard help, just offensive line help, but I don't think you take
Yep.
him over the guys that are you're going to have Travis Hunter. I mean, like you look at the either one of the quarterbacks is going to be remaining at 4 and you might have some trade offers, or if both the quarterbacks have gone, you have either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. So I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to be going offensive tackle. But yeah, I think Will Campbell, I think he's going to have to play guard. I don't think with arms coming in, I think he came in at like 32 and a third. I don't think you can play tackle with arms that small. I think if it's 33 and a third, okay, maybe if it's 33 and three quarters, like Armand Membu, okay, I think you can get
Yep.
away with that. But like I mean, you're like in 2 inches too short to like the minimum criteria. So I think he'll play guard. But no, I like the pick there. I mean, they do, you're completely right. They do just need to get a pick
They just
right.
need to get good football players. I
Mhm.
think that's the main thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So over to me with the Jets here at 7. This is interesting here because I think uh they're probably taking best player available, I think, in this situation. The problem is I don't know out you're not taking Genty, and Genty's the best player available in my opinion because you obviously just don't need a running back, right? I think in all honesty, Tyler Warren's up there. I wouldn't be surprised if they went Tyler Warren. I think this is his absolute ceiling for
Yep.
me personally. Outside of this, I really don't know where they go. I think that where I'm gonna go is probably gonna be Will Johnson. That
Mhm.
PFF has Jade Barron over him. I'm gonna take Will Johnson here. I think with DJ Reed hitting free agency, you need an outside corner to pair with Sauce Gardner, and I think this
Yeah.
is where they go here.
Yeah, and I think so too. I don't know if he's going to actually run the 40 just pro day,
Mhm.
but with like a solidish time at his pro day, he should still be a top 10 pick.
Yeah. I mean, the
Um,
coverage skills are there. Nobody's concerned about the coverage skills. It's that top speed that I think, and that is the only concern with people around him.
yep, yep. So here at number 8, I'm not going to go Shamar Stewart. He had a great combine, crushed the
Mhm.
combine. I'm actually going to go Georgia, not not Micah Williams. I'm going to go Jalen Walker here.
Yeah, I think yeah,
At 8. I think he's going to be, kind of that hybrid. Like he can rush. He weighed in at what, like 245, somewhere around there, 240 something.
yeah, I think somewhere around there. I don't know if this is yeah, they haven't listed 245. I think he was in probably 243 or something at the
I think it
combine. Yeah.
was 243. That's what I saw. So, he can rush the passer. He can also play off ball. Kind of like they're, a younger, but maybe a little more athletic, like Frankie Louvu.
Yep.
So kind of their Swiss Army knife that can kind of do multiple things. I really like Jalen Walker here at 8. I think this might be his ceiling too.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of these guys, it's weird in this range. Like if you told me that they drafted Malachi Starks here even after the weird combine, like I mean, you never know. You just don't know with a lot of these guys in the kind of the same tier.
Yes. Yeah. The thing that's crazy is like you said Malachi Starks. What if Nick Emanwari went here?
Yeah, true.
It's like I'm not going to come out and say there's no way in hell he does that, but it seems like there's like
He is the
30
most
guys in that
athletic.
range.
He's
You know,
he's the most athletic safety in the 28 years that the combine's been a thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
uh,
the RAS score, he had a 10.0 as a corner, a strong safety, a free safety, and a 9.99, which was pretty much a 10.0 at wide receiver.
yeah,
The o like, yeah, it was crazy
the
for
only
the boy.
wideout that's higher than him was Calvin Johnson.
Yes, who I think I don't necessarily know, but I think had a fairly decent career. So, um,
Well, do
and
you how many playoff wins?
yeah, I mean, well, if you're looking at total, like, single season receiving yards in 16
Yeah,
games, he's your guy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you want a playoff win, you know, he can put up 28 points in a playoff game, but he can't win it for you. Uh,
True.
but I'm gonna go T-Mac here at 9.
Yep.
I think this is his ceiling in my opinion. I don't necessarily think I guess there's a chance that he can go a little bit earlier. Maybe he goes to the Raiders at 6. But I think that T-Mac, his floor is all the way down late teens, early 20s, I think even just because of the lack of need for a receiver once you go beyond the Saints here. But I think that T-Mac helps the Saints in a lot of ways. I do think that the Olave concussion issue is a lot bigger than what people realize, and that he is a 1 to 2 big hits to be having his career be done because of how
Yeah.
many times he's had some pretty scary concussions. So I'm gonna go T-Mac here at 9. I think he's a great player. I think that you're not gonna solve the quarterback issues at 9 here. I hope, please God, don't take Jackson Dart here at 9. Do make a pick that can help your offense without taking
Yeah.
a new quarterback, and that's exactly what T-Mac does.
Yeah, T-Mac's gonna be a beast.
Yeah.
And like with him, Shaheed coming back, and Olave, that's a really good trio.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So here at 10, I fought for Will Campbell here, like in real life for them, off camera, but Will Campbell in this one goes already. So I'm going to take Genty here at 10. They just traded for Jonah Jackson and then also today Joe Tooney, which is a big pickup.
Mhm.
I think Genty in this offense would be elite with DeAndre Swift as well. So Roshan Johnson's still on the roster too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so they could even look at like moving potentially Swift, and then like just having him and Roshan. I think it could be a great backfield.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hate that pick as a Lions fan because it's a great pick for the Bears. What they did today, with the trades is brutal to see. But they improved their offensive line a ton, and I think a lot of times we had them picking an offensive lineman here at 10 because they needed it so badly. We didn't expect them to go solve it through
Yeah,
free agency. They didn't even do it through I mean, they did it through a form of free agency. Realistically, they did it through trading minimal picks to go get large contracts of guys that needed to be extended. So, but no, I think that Genty's a great pick there. Over to me here at 11. I think this is where I go Michael Williams. I don't know why. This just screams to me 49ers player. He's a guy that he can torment you off the edge. He might even be able to slide inside on clear passing downs. And he just gives me such 49ers defensive player vibes that he's going to come in, he's going to have 8 sacks in his first year, and then 3 years down the line, you're going to look at him competing for defensive player of the year and say, holy smokes, how'd he fall to 11? So
yeah,
I think Michael Williams is a freak athlete. I don't think that I know that. He's a freak athlete that also produced pretty well this year on the bum ankle. I think he's going to be really, really good in the NFL, and it's going to be a great pick here for the 49ers who are looking to just get out of cap hell. And
yeah,
so I think even Bosa moving on from Bosa wouldn't even be absurd to think about because that's what probably I don't know if it's their biggest, but one of their biggest contracts if it's not. So
yeah,
Micah Williams I think is a great pick here though.
yeah. I think so too. And the 49ers probably aren't going to be drafting this high again.
Mhm.
So taking advantage of getting a plus potential edge rusher that who's only what? How old is he? 20. Looking real quick,
22 maybe.
20.6. So like
Oh yeah, no, not
he's
even
one of the
22.
youngest guys in the class.
Yeah.
So I already made my pick here. I ran this card to Roger Goodell. I'm talking like I sprinted this card up for the Cowboys. I'm going Membu here. I'm going Armand Membu here. This screams the Cowboys that people are like, they need Omarion Hampton, they need Luther Burden, they need more weapons, and then they go draft an offensive lineman that turns into an all pro.
Mhm.
So Membu here makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. No, I love that there. I mean, I think Membu is a weird body type. I think he's only 6'2" or 6'3". Yeah, 6'3". But his arms were barely under the 34
Yeah,
inch,
they're 33 and a half.
33 and a half. Okay. And so I think it's close enough that he's going to be fine. I also just think that his mobility, he was moving in his 40.
Dude, the loudest 40-yard dash it ever. He was
Oh yeah.
like, he was loud.
Yes. Um, he was loud. So we
Yeah.
talked about this a little bit earlier. And Malachi Starks, I do think Malachi Starks might be better than Nick Emanwari, and I do think he will be better than him in the pros. But I think as a prospect, Nick Emanwari, it is hard to look beyond. If you're looking at combine at all, Emanwari is, I mean, leaps and bounds ahead of Malachi Starks. So I'm going to go with a
Love it.
little bit of a hot pick here. Nick
Love it.
Emanwari, 13th overall over Malachi Starks. Again, I do think Malachi Starks is going to be a better NFL player, just more instinctive than Emanwari, but Emanwari's athletic profile is absurd. So I have him going 13th there. I think that's his ceiling, but I really don't know for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that might be his ceiling. It really just depends because safety, as we talked about, isn't as highly regarded.
Hmm.
Um, but with that RAS score, like I mean, it's tough to ignore that.
Yes.
So speaking of another great RAS score, I'm going to go Shamar Stewart here.
Mm,
Colts love. We've been over this countless times. Every mock draft, Colts love their RA, the raw athletic scores. Shamar Stewart weighed in a little less than what we thought. He weighed in at what 263, 262, somewhere around there.
I think
Uh,
so. Yeah.
Ran a 4.5. Was it a 4.59? His 10-yard split was incredible. His vert was incredible. Broad jump was
Mhm.
incredible. He's one of the most, it might be one of the most impressive edge combines ever. Only
Mhm.
problem is he only has 4.5 sacks over 3 years. So
Mhm.
you're just hoping that kind of translate like it translates like an Adafe Owe
Mhm.
situation here. But I really like him at 14 here.
Yeah, he almost gives me like Ed Oliver vibes the way that he just blew the combine out of the water. So no, I like Shamar Stewart there. Yeah, like you said, the athletic profile. If there's a team that loves a good athletic profile, it's the Colts, and
Yep.
that kind of lines up well there. I'm gonna take here at 15. I'm gonna go Jihad Campbell. I think Jihad Campbell. I love this fit here going to the Falcons. I do think Mike Green could be in play here. I think that would be a pretty good pick for them, but I think realistically, they need linebacker and edge help. Jihad Campbell's a guy that was recruited as a five-star edge rusher and
Yeah.
played off the ball initially, transitioned to on or played on the ball initially, transitioned to an off-ball linebacker, and it was really, really good this year for Alabama as an off-ball linebacker. So I like him a ton. What do you run a 4.49 at the combine? I want to say it was 4.4s. I know that. So I mean, he is plenty quick. He's got sideline to sideline speed, and I think realistically, getting him at 15 here, maybe the positional value of linebacker is not as high as you would expect, or as other positions, but he's going to be on the field every single play, and you're going to be glad that you have him every single play.
Yep.
So I like Jihad Campbell a ton here at 15.
Yeah, I love Jihad Campbell. I think he's gonna be a stud, especially if he plays that off-ball role. He could be a stud.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Mike Green here at
Yeah.
16. The production's hard to hide,
Mhm.
and I just think he's gonna kind of be in this like middle-ish first round, depending on when people actually dig on the background, if everything's okay with that.
Mhm.
But I think with the background coming out clean, I think this is probably like his ceiling around
Yep.
here.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And yeah, anybody that doesn't know the background, got kicked off the team at Virginia. Um, in all honesty, I really don't know too much about it, but I do know that he was just fine at Marshall and there were no problems there. So
Yep.
I'm gonna take Walter Nolan for your Bengals here at 17. I love this fit. He somebody that line, I mean, in the interior just wreaks havoc on offensive lines. I think that's exactly what you need. Sam Hubbard retires, the Ohio legend.
Yeah.
Went from Cincinnati to Columbus, back to Cincinnati for his entire career there. I do think you're going to have to extend Hendrickson here soon. If you don't do that, you're going to need a ton of defensive line help. If you do that, you still need defensive line help. So I think Walter Nolan does everything that you need him to do. He rushes the passer at an elite level, and he defends the run at a very solid level as well. So I love Walter Nolan. I think he could go higher than this, but I love the fit here at 17.
Yeah, no, I love that too, especially for my Bengals. We need all the interior D line help that we can get. Um, so here at 18, I'm actually going to do something here. It doesn't, and here's why it might not make a ton of sense, like off the top of it. I'm going to go Luther Burden here,
Mm,
and the reason I'm going Luther Burden is because DK Metcalf's on the block,
yep.
and they're most likely going to trade him. Like before it even came out, we were hearing rumblings of the combine of DK Metcalf being on the block.
Mhm.
I understand that Burden and JSN are maybe more slot guys, but I'm a firm believer that if you're good, like in the NFL, like if you have two good receivers, you just figure it out.
Right.
So I could see that being like a replacement, for DK Metcalf.
Yeah, well, I think even like to bring my Lions in perspective, Amon-Ra it was primarily referred to as a slot guy in his
Yeah,
early years, and you'll see plenty of times where they have Amon-Ra and Khalif Raymond on the field at the same time, right? And I know Khalif Raymond's not an elite slot receiver, but he's certainly a slot receiver.
Yeah.
So if you can make it work with them being on the field, I think JSN has primarily been a slot guy so far, but he's been a slot guy because you have DK and Tyler Lockett. He's
Yeah,
able
and
to play
yeah,
wide, I think. Like,
and like JSN, like the profile of him coming out of college, like he can play
mhm,
outside too. Like he's not just a slot guy. Like his route running is good enough to not only play the slot. I think the same thing
yeah.
as Luther Burden. Like just
Yes.
get the ball in
Yep.
their
And yeah,
hands.
I have two receivers that I want to get the ball in their hands, and they're both great route runners. Cool. That's I don't care what you are predominantly a slot or an out wide guy. So,
Yep.
yeah, no, I completely agree there. At 19 here, I do think it's going to be defensive. I think Jahdae Barron being there is appealing to me. I do think there's a couple other guys in here. Like I think Maxwell Hairston crushed the combine, ran a 4.28, and he was flying there. I also think that the edge rushers in this class are just very good. Like you look at I mean, you have Pierce still here, you have Scorton still here. I do think that you also have defensive interior that are great. Where's he at? He's always really far. Oh no, they moved up here. Derek Harmon is actually in a acceptable spot now from PFF. I think with all of those, I'm gonna go with the not so sexy pick. The player there is just Jahdae Barron. Give me a good coverage corner with great instincts, the guy that's gonna go make plays. Right here, I think you just need to get a good
Yep.
football player. I think James Pierce Jr. is a good football player, but in very specific situations. Jahdae Barron, I think, is a great football player in all situations.
Yep. No, I absolutely love that. And I think I'm going to surprise you here on this pick. I'm going to go
Mm,
Omar
I
Hampton
love
here.
that.
Reasoning, Javante Williams hasn't worked out. Audric Estime, I just don't think
Mhm,
he can be that bell cow that Sean Payton likes. Um, Omar Hampton here this would be a great
mhm.
fit for fantasy perspective, but I think Omar Hampton really has a chance to go before this too. I know we didn't bring that up earlier. I think he really does have
Yeah,
a
no, I
chance to
mean,
go in the
yeah,
teens.
he is it's almost like to me, it's like the Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
clear, clear, clear RB1 in Bijan Robinson, and it's like, okay, he's gonna get so much hype coming into the draft, right? Just like Genty is. He's getting so much hype because he's going to be so good. Yes, but like just lurking in his shadow is Omar Hampton here. And it's like, guys, he's
yeah,
also going to be really good. And if he goes to a better situation, right? Like
yeah,
here we have Genty going to the Bears who kind of just rebuilt their offensive line. He's in a better situation than the Broncos probably. But like if Genty were to go to like the Raiders, right? And Hampton goes to the Broncos here, oh my gosh, or Hampton goes to the
yeah.
Steelers. Like, I think that you're in a real, like, spot where Hampton's going to be better than Genty production-wise for a couple of years. So, no, I completely agree with you there. I like Hampton at 20. To me, at 21 here, this is where it gets a little bit rough for me. I'm gonna go Matthew Golden here. I think the 4.2940 elevates him for sure into the first round. And I think this is where the Steelers need receiver help. Getting a guy that just ran a 4.29 and has great hands, I think, is a good recipe for success here.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the combine
Mhm.
just vaulted him up. So I like that. Okay, so 4 here at 22. I mean, the connection's just too hard to pass, but I am going to
Yep.
pass it. I'm going
Okay.
Tyler
No,
Warren.
I think that makes a whole lot of sense there.
Yeah, the connection, I mean, with Colson Loveland, like just because of the Jim Harbaugh connection, I really think Tyler
Mhm.
Warren's going to be a better pro. The production's hard to beat. I know maybe the movement isn't as fluid, but Tyler Warren can block. We've talked about this before. Usually, to be a good tight end in the NFL,
Mhm.
you have to be able to do both, or you're kind of stuck in no man's land like a Kyle Pitts. So I really like Tyler Warren's,
Yeah. No, I do
profile.
too. So, looking at this, Packers are one of the teams listed as a possibility for DK Metcalf. So I think that obviously would I mean, like if you confirm they weren't going to trade for DK Metcalf, I think Igbuka maybe comes into play here. But I don't think wide receiver is as big of a need as they make it seem here. I think corner is a much bigger need for me. I'm gonna take Siobhan Ravel here. I think they're probably moving on from Jair Alexander, and that makes the corner position with Jair Alexander on your roster is certainly a semi need. Like it's not your biggest need, but it is a need. And I think now you move on from Jair Alexander, it's a huge need. So that's where I'm going to end up with Siobhan Ravel there at 23.
Yeah. I love that. So I'm going to make this easy. I'm
Hmm.
going to go Kenneth Grant here from Michigan. Going to make it easy. They need interior help, and I think he's going to be a solid pro.
Yeah,
Could probably
nope,
start year
I
one.
love that there. So I'm gonna take Emeka Egbuka. We'll keep that easy for them as well. I think
Yep.
that's just a they need receiver help, right? You don't have Diggs. He's going to test free agency. Tank Dell probably out for the entire year this year too. Who knows when he's going to come back? You need Nico Collins needs some help, and so I think Emeka Egbuka is a perfect pairing to have uh, back with CJ Stroud, the little Ohio State pairing, and then obviously Nico
Yep.
Collins, the Michigan guy in there too. But I'd like that pairing of wide receivers and Nico Collins and Emeka Egbuka there.
Yeah, and then the Tank Dell, like he just got his Achilles or his
Mm.
ACL repaired today. So 10 months out is week
Oh,
18. I
so
saw
yeah,
that on
so
Twitter. So
yeah.
yeah, he's for sure out. Okay, so 26.
Mm.
I'm going Josh Simmons here from Ohio State. He'll be fully healthy for OTAs, training camp, everything like that. I think he really, if he was healthy,
Yep.
would have gone top 15. So this is a great steal for the
Yep. No,
Rams at
completely agree. I'm
26.
going Kelvin Banks here. I was kind of waiting on Kelvin Banks to find the correct fit. I think in all honesty, you can never have too many offensive linemen. So I think there's a chance that
Yep.
anybody in this range, like anywhere, I mean, obviously there's some teams in here that need tackle help as well. But I think in like the early 20s, there's really nobody that needs tackle help. But there's a chance that you still take them just because you can't there's never too many offensive linemen. If you have 5 good offensive
Yep.
linemen out there, I don't care where you have to shift them, that's a good thing. So, like, even a team like the Chargers makes no sense to take an offensive tackle. You have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, but I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden Harbaugh's like, "No, just give me the best damn blocker. I'll take him. Move him to right guard, and we'll have a great offensive line." Like I wouldn't be
Yep.
surprised if there's something like that happens, but I do like Simmons a lot. I also like Kelvin Banks. Confirming that Simmons is going to be
Yeah.
healthy for OTAs, he has to be above Banks, and I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to climb up this board and ends up being a top 20 pick.
Yeah, and Josh Simmons is a senior, but he's only 22.1. So he
Mhm,
just turned 22. It's not like he's one of those older guys that he's
mhm.
23 or 24. So I think
Yeah,
that's kind of appealing as well. Because Kelvin Banks is about to
yeah.
turn 20. He's not even 21 yet. So that's kind of like the appeal with Kelvin Banks because, with
Mhm.
the potential and everything. Going to be interesting to see what Ronnie
Yes,
Stanley
yes.
ends up doing
Absolutely.
in free agency. So for the Lions here, for your Lions, so kind of a guy that fell after the combine was
Mhm.
Tyler Booker, interior lineman from Alabama. I'm not going him. I'm actually going to
Yes,
go Gray
good, that's what I
Zabel
was
here.
hoping.
There is not a more Dan
Yep.
Campbell player
I
than Gray
would I
Zabel.
was literally sitting here 20 seconds ago saying, "I hope you pick Gray Zabel," because, like, I looked at it earlier and was like, "Oh,
Yep.
crap, no, I don't have Lions pick," because he is such a Dan Campbell player, a Swiss Army knife on the offensive line, and dude that would put his head
Yeah.
right into a brick wall 100 times in a row for you if you asked him to.
Yeah, and his arms were relatively short compared to his height at 6'6", so
Mhm.
he's definitely playing guard. Uh, 6'6" might be a little too
Yeah,
tall for a center, especially like on the Lions. Like you guys don't need him to play
yeah.
center, so he'll just play guard. But
Yes,
that's a hell of
absolutely
a
it
guard.
is. No, I love that pick. So, over to me here, it's where it gets a little bit. What's that?
Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. I
Yeah.
think I know where you're going.
There's 2 that I could pull the trigger on. It's either of these 2 guys. I'm gonna pull it on James Pierce. I don't know if that's who you were referencing or not, but,
Okay. Yep.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Malachi Starks, I think just because the he didn't have a great combine really at all, and it doesn't help Eamon Wari having a spectacular combine because having 2 safeties taken in the first round is unlikely, but, um, I think James Pierce Jr., he's a clear pass rusher. He's not great against the run yet. He could get there. Do I think he will? Maybe. Do I know he's a great pass rusher? Yes. So, I think that's what you're getting. You know what you're getting out of him. If you think you can develop him into being a good
Yep.
a good, good against the run as well, great. If you don't, then you still have an elite pass rusher on second and third down when you need to.
Yep. Yep. I love that. And then okay, so I'm not overthinking this here. Good football players, good teams take good football players. And I would I can't for the life of me begin to imagine Malachi Starks on the Chiefs. So I'm just gonna have Malachi
Okay.
Starks go here to the
Nope.
Bills. Not much better for my Bengals, for my AFC hatred, but yeah, I could
Yes.
see
Yep.
him on the Bills.
I
Demar
like
Ham
that there.
Demar Hamlin's leaving, so Malachi Starks should take over.
Yeah, they need a clear replacement there. So this is one where I'm gonna go here. This probably is an unpopular pick, and it's not Josh Connerly or Ariante Ursary. I'm going Donovan Jackson here. He's a guy that
Okay.
started at left guard, switched over or moved, shifted out wide after the Josh Simmons injury. Obviously, you trade Joe Tooney today. They need guard help. They need tackle help. They need tackle help badly. I think Donovan Jackson's the guy that can give you whatever you want. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife. It lets you, if you have somebody that develops a tackle, maybe Dewan Taylor starts playing much better. Okay, perfect. We can play him there. If you need him to play tackle, he can play tackle. If you need him to play guard, he can play guard. That's what I'm trying to get at in a
Yeah.
confusing manner. But I like Donovan Jackson. He's somebody that, PFF had him ranked in the 60s. I think he's going to be an early day two guy at the worst, just because of the ability to play guard and tackle at a high level. He did that at Ohio State. He played tackle for their national championship run. So I like Donovan Jackson a ton. I think it's a good fit here for the Chiefs, getting just a good offensive lineman.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, no, I actually hadn't thought about that yet. But I really do. What do we know what his arm length was?
I do not know off the top of my head, no.
But I mean, either way, he could fill into either the Tooney spot or that tackle spot that
Mhm.
I know Tooney was playing tackle, but so here I'm actually going to go with somebody that really I hadn't thought of here like ever because he was going high, but because of a bad comment, I'm going to go Tyler Booker here.
Okay.
From Bama. I just they just had a I with usually we see an edge rusher here, but Mekhi Becton was probably he's not the best athlete ever, especially after the injuries, and he balled out for them this year. I think he's going to leave in free agency.
Yeah.
So I could see them getting a replacement there in Tyler Booker.
Well, I think with the signing Zach Bond today for a
Yeah,
3-year,
I
51 mil, 17 a year is certainly means to me that Mekhi Becton's going to be gone because you cannot afford they
and
already didn't
yeah.
have cap space.
So I was thinking about going Carson Swessinger there. He's a
Mm,
linebacker from UCLA, but with the
yeah.
Bond signing today, like there's just no way that they would pull a trigger on a first round capital on a linebacker because they
Yep.
still have N'Kobe Dean. So
Yes. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So here's the first round mock draft, post NFL Combine mock draft here. So we'll have more coming here in the coming weeks. We'll probably do one or two more before the NFL drafts, and then obviously we'll have plenty of content after the NFL draft, talking about winners, losers of the draft. Other than that, though, this has been the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.